What the?
Be nice. Hello, everybody. We brought some friends.
Oh,
Hey. Who's that wizard?
including Dr. Scott Walter.
Nice to meet you. Hi, you are.
If you talk to a number of EV enthusiasts, investors, and companies, you will find that the most important issue is batteries. But it's not true. If you ask Elon Musk, he'll tell you the answer is batteries. That's an important distinction, and we're going to go through that and many more questions today with a very special guest, limiting the Jordan the Geesegi in studio, if you will. I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza. So Jordan, there was a whole bunch of stuff I wanted to ask you, but let's get into some easy ones. I heard a rumor that the dry electrode was solved a long time ago and that the dry cathode may as well be solved. What have you heard?
Oh, wow. There's been a lot of information that's come out on that. Some of it public, some of it not so public. As a refresher, the last information that we had was confirmed was that the cathode was using a wet process and the anode was using a dry, and that was from a teardown I did with UC San Diego. Since then, we've heard from LG Chem that Tesla is going to be buying a whole bunch of wet produced cathode material from them. But we have also heard from Tesla's machinery suppliers that Tesla's ramping up orders of cathode and anode, or in general, electrode production equipment. And they said there was different issues with the cathode and anode. So, and then there's also people in the industry, I don't know if I should say this.
Oh, then don't.
Okay.
Then don't, because protecting sources is fine.
Yeah.
But we did hear on stage today from Sandy Monroe some that he believes we may already have some dry cathode in production.
Yes, that's along the lines of what I've heard.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay. I ask no more.
Yeah.
That is a sufficient answer. This
Yeah,
guy.
so my guess as to what is going on, and this is pure speculation on my part, because we don't have any confirmation of this, but that Tesla is buying in cathode from other sources to make sure that they have enough, but that they are still making progress on the dry cathode internally.
So ramping dry cathode, supplementing with wet as needed to keep the machine in motion. We hear a lot about the limits to the elements available critical to making these batteries. We know that at one point LFP was not on the horizon yet, not in the US at least. It couldn't be sold outside of China. And that, nickel, cobalt, manganese, we're going to run out. And that's a very valid thing. But now we're just talking LFP, a lot more robust of a supply chain. Are we out of lithium? Jordan, tell me, I must know.
No, there's plenty of lithium out there. Yeah.
And the more we look, the more we find. It's one of those things where it wasn't valuable enough to even document all the places it was being found until recently. And now it looks like everywhere they look, they keep finding more.
Yeah.
What is phosphate?
Phosphate is needed for to produce LFP batteries. And in terms of phosphate reserves, because I'm assuming this is where you're going, there's enormous reserves of phosphate in the world, but it has to be from an igneous source if you're going to use it for batteries. So, and there's a much smaller reserve of that, where there's massive reserves of like sedimentary.
So I was in Vancouver, BC, and I swear, someone checked me in the comments. I was driving on the highway and I saw next to the road at a facility mountains of phosphate, just like at a facility. I mean, it's not like it's loose in nature, but I was like, what on earth is that? It was like a mountain of pink dirt. I don't know. And they were like, oh, that's phosphate. So check me on that. Am I wrong? One viewer.
Well, it has to be the right type and the right purity. Yeah.
But for some uses, it is fungible, and those ones will switch to sedimentary, and the igneous will be reserved for this use because it would then have a higher value.
This still might, in terms of, okay, so it's like the lithium thing, where there's plenty out there. It's a matter of building the capacity to refine it and get it into batteries. And igneous sources, we have found some massive reserves of igneous sources recently, just like we're constantly finding more lithium. But it's going to take some time to bring those online.
So elements are like change, check the couch.
Yeah.
And you never know what you're going to find. One viewer wanted to know, LFPs, those can't be made in cylinders, can they?
Yeah, they can be made. They've been doing that for years, is my understanding. Like on the order of size of like a 4680 or larger. Yeah.
And I don't know why they wouldn't. I mean, volumetric density is, for energy density, is lower by volume, but then use just a larger volume. But
yeah, there's positives and negatives to each form factor is probably the easiest way to put it.
Sure.
So what is your use case? And then you look at what you need for that use case and you design the cell and the pack from there.
what I want is a use for pouches, because I suspect GM's got a whole bunch of those ordered that they're not going to be able to use. If you look at the top 10 battery manufacturers, they're all the names we'd recognize, you know, Samsung, Panasonic, SK Innovations. Is anybody in the top 10 making bad batteries? Batteries you wouldn't trust?
Not that I'm aware of.
No,
I mean, yeah.
That's how they got to top 10. Mm-hmm. And after top 10, the list falls off pretty quick, but the list is just growing and growing. Mm-hmm. Is anybody the gold standard?
Generally, the way that they usually decide who is the gold standard is who the automakers are using.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean there's other people that aren't making batteries that are as good. It's just, they've gone through the qualification process. Which
so that would be CATL, BYD, LG, Panasonic, and I guess SK Innovations if Ford has started using them, which I'm not sure if they have. But those would be reasonable assumptions. Sodium ion in cars? Is it coming?
I think eventually, yeah, it's going to come. I mean, they're already putting it in some basic cars, like some prototype cars in limited production. But I think LFP, the prices have dropped so much that there's just not a market for these sodium ion batteries that are actually more expensive because they haven't scaled yet. So on the materials level, they're cheaper, or will eventually be cheaper, but they need to scale them first. And I don't think that's going to happen at large scale for another several years. So it's going to be LFP, I think.
Okay, and LFP is likely to dominate, and because LFP isn't as resource constrained as we had previously thought, it's entirely likely that sodium ion could come online later due to a lack of urgency.
Yeah, because the whole sodium ion market was predicated on the idea that lithium ion battery price is going to remain high. So because lithium ion battery prices have dropped, LFP, there's kind of a glut in the market now. Those resources are being diverted to LFP rather than the sodium ion market.
Okay.
Yeah, the investment's not there because LFP is so cheap.
Do you guys have any battery questions? All my notes are no longer in my possession. I handed them off to. Yeah. So, do you remember anything else I asked about last night?
No, my brain's cooked, man.
Yeah.
Am I making sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Because my brain is.
So we are going to cut it there because it has been a long day.
Yeah.
We've been on the go for 14 hours probably, and it was a great day in Muskegon. We've got Devin here who's hanging out with us. We've got what the
Be nice.
Lars is joining us because he's got to. It was awesome this morning. My car was unlocked. And I was like, my car's unlocked. And I pull up the app and it says, your car door is open. I'm like, oh. So I click lock. I don't know. And I come down and I go outside and I look. And it's a sound booth. It's a sound booth. Lars is recording his weekly news show. The news doesn't rest and neither does Lars. And now he's like cooking in my car because I forced him to close the door so that I wouldn't set off the alarm on him in the middle of his news show. So that was a whole lot of fun. Guys, in the comments, what did we miss? What did we misunderstand? What should I have asked Jordan? I'm very careful and respectful of his time because I will only bug him when I have very good questions or he's captive in this fantastic Airbnb.
Get me out.
Rescue. Won't you rescue the Jordan? So guys, what did we miss? What did we misunderstand? Leave it in the comments below, and like, subscribe, smash your thumbs. I'd like to see it, but not on video, just to hear about it. Just a comment saying that you maybe don't smash your thumb, but you can smash mine, not in person though. I gotta clarify that that's not a valuable thing or a good idea. Yeah, hit the buttons, you know what you're doing, and everybody else, stay tuned, stay juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots on the next one, when you rescue Jordan.
Hello, everybody. We brought some friends.
Oh, there is good.
Hey, who's that wizard?
Including Dr. Scott Walter.
Mr. Wizard. Nice to meet you. Hi, you are? Mr. Wizard.
You're part of my interview now. Yeah.
Oh, you want to
That's just
Oh my gosh.